Hi, I'm Jeff Linson, and I'm going to talk to you about my cars and the impact they've had on my life and the life of so many people that I know, and how they're more than just metal, but they can become a very fabric of your life. But all my life, cars have been a very important part of my life. When I was in high school, I had a 1939 Pontiac that kept me out of trouble. I'd work on it on weekends. I learned how to use my hands. I learned how to fix things and paint things and make things look better. And it kind of set me up to be able to service my own cars the rest of my life. And since then, I've gone on and had Volkswagens and other Pontiacs and a whole host of cars. And they've all been very meaningful because of those early years that I spent working on cars, just enjoying that time either by myself or with my friends. I went to high school in the summer for auto shop and just built mostly camaraderie with other car enthusiasts. I learned most everything I learned on my own, but when I went to took a few classes in the summers just because I thought it would be good to get that background. And it's turned out to be a hobby and not a profession, but it's something I enjoy. It's a passion. I'll show you some pictures later, but when I was in high school, I had this Volkswagen that I drove for the first year and a half, I guess my junior and senior year, and it was a great car. Everybody loved it. We fit as many people in as we could. We had a lot of fun with it. And then I tore it up because I was just so wild and crazy back then that I finally went through the engine and the transmission and realized it wasn't worth fixing up anymore, so I parked it. And a friend of mine said, "You got to do something with this car." It was just sitting in the back of our garage, and he said, "I think you should take it all apart and put it together on the roof." And then he went off to the service, and I only saw him one time after that because he was actually killed in the service in a plane crash. But he did get to find out that we did eventually put it on the roof of the school. So a group of 10 of us, 10 of my buddies from my senior year, put it up for the Glen Ridge High School for the class of '78. We actually put it up there because we won the Group 1 state championship, and we decided I was just looking for a reason to put my car on the roof. I was just looking for an occasion. I had it all ready. I had it painted. I had everything ready, and sure enough, that was the event that would allow us to do it and not hopefully get away with it. Hopefully, so we did it late one night, December 7th, 1977, and I was immediately famous for doing that in the town and all of northern New Jersey. Saw it in the Star Ledger newspaper. It was in the town paper, and it became a real icon immediately. And then it ended up being the #1 class unifier, and I was voted the best car in the class and all that kind of a thing. But it gave me a little bit of a sense of camaraderie with everybody. You made a lot of friends that way, and it was just a neat social avenue. So, and I always loved cars, so it's kind of kept me in the car theme. But now it's a part of the culture of the town, the folklore of the town, and it has. They're still you go on Facebook and they're still talking about it, trying to figure out how we did it and who did it. And, people know, but it's all these rumors. The rumors are funnier than the truth. It's just amazing. But at all our class reunions, it's always the talk of the time and the pictures and everything. So that's been good. But it was much more than just a piece of metal. This was a memory. It was a class unifier. It was it's really part of the culture of the town and the history. And that's when I never regret doing that. The week before we were going to learn that we were going to have our first child, my brother found a Model A Ford pickup, 1929, which we purchased. I got permission from my wife to buy that, and then within a week we found we were having our first child. So I had that little window of opportunity to get permission to buy it. But it was the same car that I built a model of in second grade, and here it was 25 years later, where the real car came along, and it was a friend of my father's, and he gave me a great deal on it. We didn't have the money to buy it, but he let me buy it for $100 a month for 5 years, and it became mine. And that's where I really got interested in going to auto shows and restoring cars and that whole culture involved. And we've had it for 22 years, and I've been at every parade and car show, and just I like driving around town normally, just so people can see it and appreciate the history that goes behind the car. And everybody loves it. You've made instant friends just by driving into a parking lot. 1929, which happens to be Stephen's birthday. He's 1991. And so we decided this car was going to be Stephen's someday anyway, but the fact that it was made on his birthday just kind of adds to it. The car was a friend of my father's from childhood, and so it's got all this nostalgia with it, friends and family, and then now that it's got the same birthday as Stephen, and we've been through our whole life together with it, it's just going to stay in the family indefinitely and have that memory forever. One thing I did for both of our children growing up is I was the show and tell with the Model A Ford pickup. I'd bring it in for show and tell at least one day a year, and we did this I think from first grade up to about sixth grade. And it has a crank start, and it's got a manual windshield wiper you do with your hand, and just the gas tank is in the dashboard. There's all kinds of things that are so different from our cars today. It doesn't have directionals, but it has a horn. It has just such a novelty. I'd bring it in, I'd try to share it with kids so they'd get a sense of the excitement of what it is to own an antique car, and the way cars used to be, how simple life used to be from 1929. Right behind me you can see my Roadrunner. It's a 1970 Limelight Roadrunner that I bought off of eBay about 9 years ago. For 9 years I've had it. It's become a part of the family, and it goes to all the car shows. I use it around town for work, and Lowe's and Home Depot and Office Max, and whenever I have to go shopping, and then parades and all kinds of activities. So it's become part of the family, and that's been that way with several cars that I've had, and I'm very much in favor of using cars to help our social fabric of our nation. One of the things that whether it's hot rods or antiques or classics or whatever it is, but just having the ability to work on cars, that sense of accomplishment when you've done something, you've built something that is yours, or you've fixed something, that's very good to get that sense of confidence and have an ability like that. And so I'm very appreciative that I had this opportunity growing up where my parents allowed me to have cars to work on and encourage me in that way, because it has ramifications for the rest of your life. When you get successful at something, you can transfer that success to something else. And I'm an engineer now, but I'm glad that I learned to use my hands and to build things and fix things, because that's helped me in engineering to where I can physically say I've done stuff and I understand it. And so that's another aspect of just having an interest in cars and how that can help you with other parts of life.
And it's what kind of defines you, and that's kind of something that has influenced what I buy you for presents, and
That's
we've done in the past, and I mean it's kind of shaped our family in some aspects, and I mean they're a big part of my life, I would say.